You guys are going to love this next story. So, Republicans are trying to push their horrendous Graham Cassidy repeal bill, Obamacare repeal bill. And it's very similar to the old Trump care legislation that had a 17% approval rating among the American people. Just to give a few examples, it's going to increase the number of uninsured people. Premiums are going to go up in the first year by at least 20%. Gets rid of protections for pre-existing conditions. It makes it so that it's optional on a state-by-state basis, and at least 50% of the states are going to opt out of covering pre-existing conditions. So it's really just a sick joke, and there's united opposition against this. It's insane that the Republicans are pushing it. We just covered the story about how journalist Jeff Stein of Vox questioned a bunch of different Republican senators. Hey, how does your policy help the American people? The most straightforward question ever. Hey, tell me how your policy helps the American people. They couldn't answer. They don't have anything to say because it doesn't. They just fucking think in right-wing talking points and platitudes and, in Rush Limbaugh sound bites. Well, we got to repeal Obamacare. That's okay, but it's okay. So, but how does your plan help people? New phone, who dis? So now the RNC got in on the fun and put together talking points that the Republican politicians are supposed to use to push Graham Cassidy. There's only one problem. The talking points don't push Graham Cassidy. So wait, what? How can you put together talking points specifically for pushing your healthcare bill? And it does. Your talking points don't even directly address your healthcare bill. Most of your talking points are not even on that issue. Well, it's because, again, they have nothing where they can sell it, so they just have to keep defining what they're against. Can't say what they're for because they're not for anything. Ask a far-right Republican, hey, what's your ideal healthcare system? Well, you free market and remove the lines around the states and repeal Obamacare. I know what you're fucking against. What are you for? The ideas you gave don't help the American people in any way. They wouldn't lower costs. They wouldn't increase coverage. So what are you talking about? Well, I'm against Obamacare. I know what you're against. What the fuck are you for? Well, here we go. Now, again, they can't sell it on its merits, so pivot and attack something else. Obscure, deflect, and attack something else. And what did they decide to attack in their talking points to push their own bill? Medicare for all. That is fucking rich. So listen to this. This is straight from the RNC. Senator Sanders' plan for government-run health care. Senator Sanders' plan would levy an enormous $32 billion burden on hardworking American taxpayers. Sanders' plan would mandate an exorbitant tax increase on middle-class Americans. Okay, let's pause there for a second. They're wrong in multiple layers. It's fucking hilarious. So they say $32 billion. That's a typo. They meant to say $32 trillion. $32 trillion over 10 years. But here's what they're omitting. If we don't do single-payer Medicare for all, it costs $49 trillion. Look at how pathetic these losers are. Anytime you hear anybody try to attack single-payer Medicare for all, and say, how are we going to afford it? How are we going to afford it? How are we going to afford it? Your answer should be, how are we going to afford not to do it? Because single-payer Medicare for all saves us $17 trillion. That's what you say. So whenever anybody acts like it's too expensive, we can't do it, you say, no, it saves money. It 100% saves money. Because if you don't do it, and you keep the current system in place, with all the price gouging, and all the for-profit middlemen, and all the inefficiencies, it costs $49 trillion. So, and there's another sleazy trick people do that happened during the primary. People who were on Team Hillary just lied about Bernie's bill. One of the things they'd do is they'd add up the cost of single-payer Medicare for all, Bernie's plan, and they'd add it on top of what we currently pay for health insurance and health care. And they'd say, see, we can't do it because it costs that much more. Whoa, no, it doesn't cost that much more. You forgot to subtract the entire cost of the current system. The idea is to reform the current system. That's the idea. Not to keep the current system in place as is and then add the cost of single-payer Medicare for all on top of it. I mean, this is like elementary level shit, but they fuck it up, and they fuck it up on purpose because they're trying to smear it. They're trying to defeat it by lying about it, by misleading about it. Every other modern nation has one version or another of a single-payer system. They have better health outcomes, lower costs, and they cover everybody. So don't tell me we can't do it. Don't tell me we can't do it. So they're wrong. They're just wrong. Single-payer Medicare for all saves money. You get rid of the unnecessary for-profit price gouging middlemen, and you fix the inefficiencies. All right, next talking point. Democrats are divided over the costs, and even the most liberal members of the party have criticized the plan. Bullshit. You know who criticizes the plan? People who are bought by for-profit health insurance companies. Among the American people, 80% of Democrats say, let's do single-payer Medicare for all. 61% of all Americans favor it. There are more Republicans that favor Medicare for all than don't favor Medicare for all. It's a plurality of Republicans that say, yes, let's do Medicare for all. So that is so fucking disgusting and misleading. Even Liberal Party members have criticized the plan. Well, in Washington, sure, because in Washington, it's the goddamn swamp. It's the swamp, and people are bought and owned by corporate America. Among the American people, it's across the board. People are like, yeah, let's do Medicare for all. Wildly popular, the most popular healthcare plan by far and away. Next. Even in very liberal states, these government-run healthcare plans have failed because the costs are too high. Whoa, 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 whoa. What state are you talking about? What state are you talking about? What state is there in the United States of America that has fully implemented a single-payer system? There isn't one. There isn't one. Now, there's one or two where it got through the legislature, but what happened after it got through the legislature? The for-profit health insurance companies crushed it and didn't even let it go into effect. So what the fuck are you talking about? Their talking points are such shameless lies. That is such a shameless lie. Even in very liberal states, these government-run healthcare plans have failed because the costs are too high. We don't even have it in any of the states. What the fuck are you talking about? And everywhere it's been tried around the world, it's succeeded. You go, don't take my word for it. You go look at the top 10 healthcare systems in the world. And you go, you look at whichever outlet you think is most credible, whether it's the World Health Organization or whether it's others. We've covered multiple ones on the show. It just so happens that single-payer systems make up the overwhelming majority of the best systems in the world. Okay, next point. Obamacare failed spectacularly and devastated the American healthcare system. If we allow for a complete government takeover, hardworking families nationwide will face crippling tax increases, higher wait times, and worse care. Okay, notice they're not even giving details. Because whatever details they give, like the number in their first talking point, they're wrong about. So then by the end, they're just saying shit. It failed spectacularly. Obamacare? Well, actually, no. Obamacare increased the number of people covered by millions. It protects people with pre-existing conditions. It makes it so that until the age of 26, you can stay on your parents' health insurance. It makes it so that health insurance companies are mandated to spend, I think it's at least 60% or 80%. I think it's 80% of their money on actual health care, when it used to be, health insurance companies would spend half their money on health care and the rest on overhead costs. So Obamacare doesn't go far enough, but to argue it made the healthcare system worse is just not true. It cut costs and covered more people. So that's just not accurate to say it made the healthcare system worse. Anything would have made our healthcare system better. It was the biggest joke in the world. It still is a pretty big fucking joke. But anything would have made it better from what it was. And then the key point, taxes. I just told you, it saves money. So you have to, if I say to you, okay, your taxes are going to be raised by 1%, let's say, just for argument's sake, your taxes are raised by 1%. But then I also tell you that, hey, as of right now, you spend 2% or 3% of your income on your health insurance. So I'm going to take that 2% or 3%, give you that money back, and then now I'm going to take 1% more in taxes. What are you going to say? You're going to go, well, I understand basic math. I'm not a fucking idiot. So yes, I'm in favor of that system. Well, they try to obfuscate. They try to act like, tax increases. But you're not including the fact that you're not going to have to pay premiums, co-pays, deductibles. You're not going to have to pay the exorbitant price gouged rate that you're currently paying for your private health insurance. So they have nothing but to lie. And again, with this bullshit line, wait lines, rationing of care. Guess what? Literally every single system in the world rations care. It's just a matter of how you ration it. In the United States, we ration care by size of your wallet. In single-payer systems, they do it by need. Which makes more sense? Hey, let's ration care based on who's richest, or let's ration care based on need. Need makes sense. And anytime anybody talks about wait lines in single-payer countries, you have to understand that's only for elective procedures. That's only for elective procedures. So that means, if you want something that's not immediately necessary, yeah, you might have to wait a little bit. Whoop-de-frickin-do. But people the people on the far right try to make it seem like if, you need some imminent cancer surgery, and they're like, we'll get to you in 3 weeks. That's just bullshit. They have nothing but to lie, man. So, that's where we are. And these were the talking points to push Graham Cassidy. Listen, if the Democrats don't know how to counter these preposterous attacks, it's the saddest thing I've ever seen. Because 61% of the American people already agree with you. 80% of Democrats agree with you. More Republicans agree with you than don't agree with you on Medicare for All. So when the Republicans start to attack something that you already are massively popular on, you better have your responses ready to go. You better be willing to regurgitate every single point I just made. Oh, it costs $32 trillion. Yeah, but if we don't do it, it costs $49 trillion, so we save $17 trillion. What's your next bullshit point, son? You better have all these ready to go. Single-payer system. They cover more people. It costs less. Better health outcomes. Every other nation does it better than we do. That's what the studies show. That's what the studies prove. Every other modern nation says healthcares are right. We don't in this country. We have 45,000 people that die every year because they don't have access to basic healthcare. So the Democrats, you guys could run roughshod on this issue. But let's see what they do. Because Democrats, being Democrats, number one, most of them still don't believe in Medicare for All, which is the saddest thing in the world. Elected Democrats, to be clear. Most of them don't believe in Medicare for All, which is pathetic. But even among the ones that do, do I think Senator Kamala Harris is well-versed in the counter-arguments on Medicare for All? Of course not. Of course not. But you're going to need people like Kamala Harris and Cory Booker and Al Franken and all those people to learn all the points that Bernie makes on a regular basis and Ro Khanna makes on a regular basis so that they can effectively counter-argue this stuff. Because as soon as you give in to their framing, you're done. And that's what the Democrats are known to do on every issue. They just give in to the right-wing framing. Virtually every Democrat supports endless war. Why? They bought into the right-wing framing. It's to protect the nation. Yes. We're the world police. Yes. Stop buying into their fucking framing. They are wrong. So we'll see what happens here, but this is just the saddest thing I've ever fucking seen. The Republicans have no way to argue in favor of their own proposal. So they just attack Medicare for All. If the Democrats had strategists that knew what the fuck they were doing, the response would be, yummy, yummy in my tummy, we're now going to destroy you.